Yo, yo, Tony D back. That's my book, Dark Patterns. I love it. I know other people love it. Love the sharings, what it's all about. But issue 8, this is a variant cover. I really dug this variant cover with the showing all the hands grasping at Batman. It really reflects some of what's going on in the book because Batman is starting to get tired. He's very driven and it's starting to wear down on him. But here's cover A. I also have cover A on the way. I double up on Dark Patterns because I love it. I think it's going to be one of those books where it'll be like, yeah, I should have got 2 copies, but here we go. Waters and Sherman, awesome. Farrell, shout out to the colors. Colors are important. The one thing I like about these newspaper clippings is it's a fresh take on showing the newspaper and the headlines and that narrative. It gives it a more of a cinematic flavor, I'll say. Batman this neighborhood is the oldest neighborhood in Gotham, and it really hints at some deep rot. And we'll get into that. Batman is looking for the Red Hood gang. He's trying to piece together a murder. Somebody was burnt and left in a safe. We're left with not much information from the coroner, who there's a little revelation in here about the coroner, which we'll get to. And Batman, see, this is what I mean by great use of the media and then the action beneath it and the cityscape, beautiful. Sherman's a great artist. Waters' writing is killing it too. He's still trying to find out what's going on with the victim that he found in the dryer. But you get a great shot here of the newspaper just floating around and Batman he snatches one. There's always been this mystical element in this book, and it is crafted beautifully where sometimes you think maybe it is magic, but Batman is rooted in science and logical detective work. It creates a great push-pull. I love it. This character, the coroner, he is becoming, he is a character in the story. He's becoming prominent. Batman is starting to trust him in a way. He's getting information that he leans into. But in the beginning of the series, he was a sketchy character, but they're still developing him as a character. We have, just to recap, this is Batman's 3rd year. He's still somewhat young. And that'll come into play when we see a certain element. Yeah, right here. Ace Chemicals. That's a total reference to the Joker. I don't think we're going to see the Joker, but it would be intriguing to see some kind of connection towards the end of this, maybe even in the middle, where there's a glimpse of the Joker before he joins the game, a la The Killing Joke. We'll see. I'm totally intrigued by it. We're really getting a sense of Gotham as a character as well. It's always, he's in the underbelly of Gotham. People are forgotten here. It really tells a story in itself, just the neighborhood. And it's crafted wonderfully by Waters. And Batman will not give up just because it's that kind of place. Because there's talk of, why even mess around? Just leave it alone. It's a bad place. It doesn't mean anything. And he's not going to give up. Batman has a code. And they're noticing that he looks exhausted. We're getting to a point where we're seeing Batman is human, and he's letting it get away from him. He doesn't have that balance yet of where he can survive being involved in something like this. There's a huge obsession element with Batman in a lot of his books. And one way that he's grounded is by his code. The body isn't telling much. He gets a line, a media guy. That's another interesting element that they're throwing in this story is the media. How is this going to play down the road? I don't think they're introducing this element just for the heck of it. I believe there's a reason. Nothing's an accident. This guy has just been writing trash to get Batman's attention. He even mentions it here. Look, that is great. Just the gritting of the teeth. He's getting touchy. He's getting grouchy. And this media guy gives Batman a line on the coroner. They don't tell you what it is, but they tell you he was fired from a previous job for some pretty much nefarious doings, but they don't tell you exactly. Now you have that element there. There could be something, it makes you think in the future. There's so many layers of things that kind of push you to think in the future, like the Joker references. Just that right there. The mysterious nature of this neighborhood that is just downtrodden and really a world in its own is what it's like to me. We have two younger cats. They know that Batman comes here. Batman is coming here regularly and surveying the scene. He's becoming obsessed, I believe. I love how Sherman draws the cape with the curls. Nice touch. See, there's that word, obsessed. You'll see it. That's what's got him obsessed with finding the Red Hood gang. And yeah, good luck with that. That just gives you more hint that it's a deep gang. I love the cityscapes. Sherman, he's up there with my artist. Top 3 definitely right now. So Batman's thinking to himself. He's in his detective mode. It's not all about gadgets and fancy stuff. What I love about stories like this, he's grounded. He's doing detective work. I love the detective part of Batman. And you get a heavy dose of this. If you haven't jumped on, that should give you a little something to think about. When I'm reading this, I'm looking at these as 2 innocent little kids messing around. Great shot right here. I love how the colors change to a more tense, urgent mode because Batman is being exhausted the way he is. He has to, the urgency, the more exhausted he becomes, the urgency ratchets up because he has to, with his obsession at this point, he has to figure it out so he can get a rest. Makes him sloppy too, and we will see that. He even mentions the Rookery, that's the neighborhood, doesn't want him there, but he mentions this is my city. He has ownership. In his mind, he owns Gotham. It's under his protection, and I love that about Batman. Total dedication. Wow. He even mentions, this is great writing. He's talking about the victim right here, and he's mentioning that he will drag her truths, kicking and screaming, into the light. That's a beautiful reference. That is great writing. I really appreciate those little things. Just being a little farther along in my comic collecting career and reading. And even doing this stuff. I love doing this stuff. It's the repetition of it is getting me where I see stuff like that differently. And it's a pleasure. I love it. He finds a fresh grave. That's the importance of coming back to the scene of the crime. I think we've all heard it. People that have committed the crime usually come back. Maybe he was leaning into that. It makes you think. I love it. And here's another thing about being obsessed and the urgency with solving this is he doesn't even think about, he thought about getting a shovel, but he's like, there's no time. I'll just use my hands. It's faster. And that just makes you even more tired. And there's a reason why that was done. It's an empty grave. More mystery. And here we have an important new character showing up. You got to remember, Batman is tired. He's wore out. He's in that obsessive stage. Someone has a bead on him. Oh, this is beautiful. Deep dive into this with me. This guy takes his shot. Batman is, I don't know if you would call this a superpower, but if anything is for Batman, it's this, where from the sound of the shot, he can tell what kind of gun it is. He can judge the distance by which windows were open. Most of them are boarded. The angle, how much time he has within a gunshot. But he knows that a bullet travels faster than the speed of sound. And he even mentions the brain, how fast it takes the brain to react to a sound. But he puzzles that all together. It's in slow motion. You hear that all the time about people saying everything went in slow motion. This is captured beautifully. And the paneling is just, it's just awesome. He knows he can't get away from it. He gets clipped. It's lodged in his back. He takes cover. He knows where to go. He even calls him a sloppy shooter. But is he, though? Maybe that was the point. He tells him he should have run. I love that shot of Batman. And he's all muddy from digging. Great details. And it just, this whole rear window style adds a twist as this gentleman speaks to Batman. And it really drives home that the horror here is, it's human, not supernatural. But Gotham's decay and the desperation of its forgotten citizens are just captured wonderfully as you delve even deeper into this conversation. And he's telling Batman, why didn't you just go away? Batman gets a story out of him where this old cat has a girlfriend, a sweetheart. She was stepping out with a cop and they took care of her and buried her. And he talks about respect, that it has to be demanded. They had to do what they did, he thinks. There's a great shot of him looking out at the decay and the depravity of the rookery, losing those elements of respect, and the old code has left the rookery the way it is. So he dug her up. And I don't think he gets into what he did, but he talks about how the Hood Gang it's a way to command that respect. It's Batman driving fear into criminals. The Red Hood Gang was that purpose for that neighborhood. You have a parallel there, beautifully crafted. And this old cat wants to keep that going, and Batman is in the way of that. And he tells him, you should have just gone away. The rookery doesn't need you. There's a code, a method where the rookery operates without an influence like Batman in it now. You have a disruptive element, which is Batman. And the kids walk in. Beautiful outro where he's in trouble. He's bleeding out, and they put their red hoods on. And he talks about how it'll remember all the better. It's like getting rid of Batman reinforces that code of this rookery. I love Dark Patterns. It's my top book. You could actually jump in. I ain't going to say jump in anywhere, but I will say you can pick up on a case. This is the third case. I think they're going 3 issues a case. And when the trade comes out, jump on that. Some final thoughts. This issue was more of a table setting than a payoff. It's compelling. You really don't mind waiting for the next chapter. I want it to come out fast. I don't mind because I have enough to chew on mentally to get me through and try to predict. It's a masterclass in grounded storytelling, proven you don't need cosmic stakes to make Batman riveting. It's a twisted mystery in a city that's forgotten how to hope. Hopefully Batman can bring the light. Outro, get it?